All right, there we go. July 17th. So we're moving right through the year pretty rapidly here. So it's kind of scary. I think the older we get, the faster it goes. Somebody needs to slow that thing down. But anyway, how is everybody? Anybody running into any issues you want me to address or things you're having, things you want to know how to do specifically? Go ahead, Pam.
Yeah, I'm running through the ACT videos, and I got to it's at home, and I'm at work. I'm at the office. I got to one, and I'm like, nothing's like that now. Oh, it's Google.
Oh, gotcha. And you're
Uh,
in the analysis, right?
yes,
Okay, yeah, there's some of the tools that the training in ACT really hasn't changed because nothing fundamentally about ACT has changed, except for some of the ways that we do the research. And I used to use those tools. Like Google Trends is still a good tool to use.
I haven't been able to find it.
It's trends.google.com.
And by the way, you look good, almost like your avatar now with the.
Well, it's the real me today, so not faking it today. But anyway, yeah, Google or trends.google.com. I'm pretty sure that's still there if you can look at that. And
Oh yeah, I love that. I mean, and they used to have stuff on Facebook I could use, so I could actually see when the people were on my page. I had two kind of peaks.
yeah, a lot of the data that used to be publicly available to us pretty much got removed and hidden. I know Google started that trend because they didn't want SEO guys to know how much search volume. Because a common practice was you would go use the Google search tool that they supply for their advertisers, and you would look that stuff up, and then you would see what the most profitable keywords were, the ones with the most high volume of search traffic. And then the SEO community would just beat that to death. And they were trying to get rid of that. So they figured the best way that we can do that is to they removed a lot of the data. Like if you didn't have an ad account, it was real hard for you to get any data at all. But even like that doesn't slow the SEO community down. They just go sign up for an ad account and then they use the tool anyway. So at that point, Google's next step was to skew the data. So the data that you see, especially local search data, because the SEO guys were just hammering the local businesses. So they completely wiped out the local data. If you go search for like local keywords to try and get search volumes, it's either non existent or it's completely false. So they did that to kind of throw everybody off the track. And unless you're doing, I think it's like a $10,000 a month ad spend, that's where they actually open that tool up for you to get the real data. So if you're not running 10 grand a month in ad spend in Google, the Google keyword tool is pretty much worthless. So there's other ways to get that data. Most of them are paid because of that, because they have to pay the money to get in there to scrape the data and all that. But like I found SEM Rush, I haven't used it in a while because I haven't really been focused on SEO lately. But they used to be pretty good, especially to get more of the local data for local keywords. But for our purposes, the one that really hurt was, like you said, Facebook. Facebook used to have all kinds of ad tracking metric tools. And now I think the best way that you can advertise on Facebook is to create a lookalike audience yourself. And that's really kind of the only way that you're going to get a really good targeting because you're giving them literally like 1,000 people that you're saying this is either my customers or this is my ideal customers that I've identified. And I would like you to see who you have in your database that's similar. It's kind of like if I show you my one in a million, they'll show me a million of them, which, if you think about it, that's really powerful. That's a really cool thing. But they've pretty much removed that from all of us little peons. So it's only reserved for the elite.
I'm
So
really glad I saw because it didn't change over many years of
mhm,
watching it. It really didn't change. There was like 9 a.m. and then another 11 p.m., which is a
yeah.
little odd, but that was my crowd. So that's when I cater to them.
But I actually have so much keyword research from the past. Like I have keyword research on almost all industries going back probably 20 or 25 years.
Wow.
I should pull that up and feed that into Perplexity and have it give us a breakdown and where should we focus.
Put in a knowledge base in quantum for us.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. I have an incredible database full of that stuff. So pretty cool. The other thing too with AI makes the research part of ACT just almost a no-brainer. Because before you were trying to dig up all this information and you were trying to decipher it on your own, which was very difficult without surveying and asking people and doing all this stuff. It was very difficult. But now, I mean, you could literally go in and you can go into the build a buyer tool and it'll give you mind reading into that prospect like at an instant. So what I should probably do is replace the workbook with that. Because the workbook, I don't know if you've seen the workbook, but a lot of people used to download the workbook and they would fill it out as they went through and kind of discovered their avatar. But
Yes, I got printouts of that. I got two things. There's two things. And
yeah,
I'm trying to fill them in. It's
and
very
that
slow.
was like one of my biggest complaints from people was how much work that was to do. And now with
God.
quantum, I mean, you literally go in and you say, here's my market, here's my product, who's my buyer? And
Yep, I've done some of that for a couple of segments.
yeah, yeah. And the other thing too is the market segmenter. Most people had no idea, and there was no real effective way. There was no research tools online that would really help with that. So it was kind of a hit and miss and kind of what do you think? And I had it pretty dialed in. I could pretty much intuitively do that for most people because I'd already worked in their industries. In some capacity, there's very few industries I haven't been involved with at this point because, I go back in advertising to 1985 and I've worked with ad agencies, some of the biggest ad agencies around, some of the biggest companies around, and every product you've probably ever thought of, or maybe you didn't. So I've seen a lot and been involved with a lot of different projects. So for me, it was easy, but I couldn't find a way to translate that until quantum. So that really has been a godsend, being able to do your analysis. Because if you didn't do the analysis right, the creation never worked. You'd start creating and you wouldn't know who you were talking to and it wouldn't convert. And it's so much easier to do now by using the tools. And I continue to make the same mistakes. And it's the same mistakes almost everybody makes. And it's the same mistakes that I correct everybody on. So you would think I would know better, right? But there's something about doing your own stuff that is just really difficult. So I would encourage you guys, like when you come up with a big idea, or you come up with a landing page, you come up with anything, share it on here, like share what you've done and I'll critique it for you. And it might seem brutal, but it's going to be honest and it's going to be in order to help you. And I do this all the time. I do this with Perry Belcher. Like I'll get a landing page and I just did this, last week. I talked about it, but I don't think I showed it. I don't think I showed what Perry said, and I should probably do that today. So, because it's a really good learning experience. And I mean, he just shredded me up one side and down the other. And I loved it. It was like, yeah, I know that, but I needed to hear it because I was sitting here looking at this thing going, oh man, this thing is beautiful. This thing is great. This is going to convert like crazy. And he's like, what in the hell were you thinking? I mean, talk about ripping the bottom out of my bag and dumping the water on the floor. It was like, oh man. But but I really, I really would encourage you guys to do that because it's an important part. We are always too close to our own fire to feel it. And that's what you need. Like that's why people hire coaches. That's why people hire mentors. You need that third party perspective. So, and I want you guys all to know you've got that here. Very few people use it. Like Arba's jumped out. She's said, "Hey, here's what I got. What do you think?" And everything I will say is absolutely true. It's to the
I
best of
have a
my ability,
I
and
have another funny story.
sometimes it hurts, doesn't it?
I have a funny story of that one of my clients had to tell me, and because again, I was too close to it. And it was a client that I've been working with for years, and he has videos. And I've been like working on his website and uploading, all his videos and everything.
Uh-huh.
And then he's been seeing what I've been doing with video clips. And he said he would like to add my video stream to his website because he does have quite a few subscribers, right?
Okay.
So I added my video stream, my video feed so that it would show my videos. And he's been watching them and he's like, Arva, your videos are really great. Your videos are really great. He says, why don't you have a call to action at the end of your videos?
Yeah.
Was like, what? He says, yeah, I've got these clips and he's like, I get to the end of it and I watch it and you don't say, he said, don't you have a subscription? And I'm like, yeah, I got a subscription. He said, you don't ask nobody to subscribe. You don't tell them what to do. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah,
So
and you know that, right?
yeah.
It's the funniest thing how we can know something so well, yet if it was a snake, it would have bit us. But yeah, that's another thing. This is another big thing that Perry teaches, and it's the fact that when someone is consuming your content, whatever stage they're at, maybe they're looking at your lead magnet, they've just made an initial purchase, they've just downloaded, something, they're never going to be hotter than they are right there in that moment. So, like if you're giving away a free lead magnet, the thank you page where you deliver that first thing, that's where you want to have a call to action. You want to make an offer. And that's another one. I absolutely suck at that. And it doesn't even have to be your offer. If you're too premature to give them your own offer, maybe give them something else. Maybe you just offer them like an affiliate product. Like you guys will notice, I went back through and I updated all my thank you pages to offer the meet-in thing, which is a Zoom replacement. And just from the people that have downloaded my lead magnets and people that have ordered simple products from me, there is so many people that have signed up for that meet-in service, and I'm making money off it. That's a source of income off of my thank you page. It's not even my thing, but yet money drops in my PayPal account every week from that thing. So
Question on that. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Question. So I was one of those that actually clicked on it, evaluated, and I'd like to get your viewpoint on it, but also why don't you use that instead of Zoom since it is an affiliate product and Zoom isn't?
See, there you go. Arba just bitch slapped me. See, it's the third party perspective. You're absolutely right. I have tried the product and I like it. And it's like, well, I don't have a good answer for you why I don't do that. Other,
Okay.
I'm just, it's the same thing. I probably should because there's a lot of cool stuff about the Meetin product. I'm
Yes.
very familiar with it. I've played with it quite a bit, and it's browser based, so you don't have to have all the additional hoopla of logging in and going through all the Zoom crap. That's number one. That's a big benefit right there.
Hmm.
No one will have a problem logging into it because it's just they put in a URL and it comes up in their browser. The other cool thing is instead of like you guys probably know how the chat is. I can't stand chat. Like I know you guys are all over here having fun in the chat and going back and forth. I'm not looking at that. So if you have a question for me, don't ask it in the chat because I'm not going to see it. Sometimes Brady and Connie will be looking at it and they might bring it to my attention, but I I have like such a high level of priority to value my time. Reading through a bunch of nonsense comments is not a good use of my time. So it's like social media. I'm not hanging out on social media. If you want to talk to me, don't go and post on my social media. I'm never going to see it. I'm very easy to contact. I've got a phone number, I've got an email address, and I answer all of that stuff. I've got a help desk. You go into the support forum, you probably get the fastest results by going into our support forum because Connie and Brady are looking at that thing all the time. If there's something, usually it's something they can answer like boom, right on the spot. You can get an instant answer. If not, they'll notify me. They'll send me an email and say, "Hey, go look at this one. It's outside our pay grade." So it's just one of those things. But the other thing that I like about Meetin is the ability to push things right to the screen. Like I could push a link if I'm talking about something. I don't have to put it in the chat and then have you hunt for it and all the nonsense.
And in the recordings, I don't know if you knew that, that if someone watches the recording from a meeting, then any push links that you do, they can access it from the
So,
recording.
Is
so
that
next week we get to use this thing. We get to see it
is
ourselves, John.
Arba, is that confirmed?
I've done it. Yes.
Okay.
I have
I
done it.
I did not know that. That right
Yes.
there, that's the breaking point. You broke the camel's back with that straw.
Yeah, and recently, because one of the only reason that when I evaluated it and then I didn't was because they didn't have breakout rooms. And I needed breakout rooms for some of the things I was doing, but now they've added that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, another thing too, like I used to use Zoom's webinar service, and I'm
Hmm.
not using it now because I lost my master account. We had that master account through Be Connected from a long time ago. And it was like I was paying like $9 a month for unlimited Zoom and webinar and the whole bit. It would have been like several $100s a month. And they had a falling out with the company that was doing that, and they canceled all those contracts. So I lost that and I had to move back to a regular Zoom account. And the regular Zoom account doesn't offer the webinars. It's a paid service, a paid add-on. And it's more than I wanted to pay. I mean, it's not outrageous, but it's more than I wanted to pay. And
Yeah, and the kind of it seems like the kind of meetings that you have, you don't want it in a webinar format.
no, no, these, no, absolutely not. These, I want the interaction, the participation. But when I'm doing an actual live webinar, then yeah, then it's beneficial to be able to lock everybody in the side box and be able to deliver. Here
There's
I
a workaround with Zoom. I'm sorry, but there's a workaround you can do that with Zoom in
is
your with your settings that what you do is there's a way to kind of a
oh yeah,
manual.
I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about. To lock the, yeah,
Mm,
mute everybody and keep them muted.
and turn their video can turn their video, make sure their videos are off and mute them all, and that's webinar.
Yeah, actually that is. But there's a webinar platform that is built right into Kartra now. And since it's built into Kartra, it's integrated with like everything I do. And again, you can go ahead and ask me again, why aren't you using it? And I don't have a good answer for you again. It's, my level of laziness is just through the roof. But you've definitely sold me on the idea of using the Meetin for this. I'm going to definitely next week we will be on Meet. We'll give
Yeah,
it
there
a
was
shot.
some other things too, because I actually had made a list, because there were some things, some questions I had for them, and some, of course, you know me, some upgrades, or hey, this would be nice, that would be nice, but I'll see if I can find that, share
Yeah,
that with you.
they're a smaller company. I'm pretty sure they're in Texas, and I don't know the owner of Meetin, but I know like his one of his best friends, the one that turned me on to it and got me into it. So he's got the direct ear if there's ever anything you want to slip through. But
Hey, John, question related to that. Have you tested the Katra webinar?
no, actually, I haven't. But I was looking at it the other day, thinking I really need to do this. So I will play around with that. Now, I'm not sure if the Kartra webinar is available to everyone in Kartra
Okay.
because I know they set these three different levels. They changed their pricing like a year ago. And I know in the bottom end, they took out several different things. So I don't know if webinar is a part of the baseline
Okay,
Kartra.
Renance. Okay.
So, and one of the things was the affiliate. They actually removed the affiliate program from their baseline Kartra account. And I just about went to war with them over that. I'm on their board of advisors, so I kind of have their ear. And I just said, what are you doing? What, whose idea was that? What are you thinking? And I said, that's the biggest problem that Russell Brunson had. He was nickel and diming everybody, not giving everybody everything. And by the time you got everything you needed in ClickFunnels, you were at $300 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Go High Level came in and just absolutely ate their lunch because of that mistake. And now you are jumping right into that bucket of shit. Why? Tell me why. What are you thinking? And it's greed. It is just absolute greed at the top. And I expressed that if there's any one thing I can't stomach, it's greed. And I basically told him, I said, look, if I can't bring people in at the low level and have them get the basic needs that they need, there's no sense in me promoting this anymore. And that is a reason for me to look at Go High Level. Although that makes me just want to throw up. but
Good for you, John.
anyway, so what they did for me is they said, okay, anybody that's signed up under your affiliate program, you let us know and we will activate the affiliate for them at no cost. So if there's any of you guys that got into Kartra because of me, don't have the affiliate program and you want it, let me know and I will get it activated for you.
Well, John, I had the second level of what they used to have, and they upgraded me to the third level for the same price.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot
Which,
of there's a lot of deals to keep customers because they lost a lot of traction. The new management, they brought in new management a couple of years ago, and a lot of the initial people that I was working with, that everybody was working really well together, a lot of them are gone, including Sarah. Like Sarah Jenkins, that was Andy Jenkins' wife. She was
Sarah's gone too. I didn't know that.
yeah, she was like the owner of the thing. They cut her out.
Wait, they took her shares?
No, they didn't take her shares, but she's no longer active in the company.
Well, they did the same thing with StreamYard. They pushed the people out who founded it, and they tried to buy it back, and they won't, and they couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know all the particulars
It's
behind it.
greed. It's online greed, is what it is. It's greed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like if anything will kill you, it's greed. Greed is good for only one person, and that's the greedy one, and they'll be very lonely before long because nobody wants to play in their sandbox. So I've never come across as greedy. In fact, one of the things that I do as part of a strategy is present myself to allow them to think I'm vulnerable. And I haven't read it, but I understand the concepts because I live it. It's the art of war. I've heard all about it. I'm like, yeah, that's me. I've never read it, but one of the concepts in there is when you're strong, appear weak. When you're weak, appear strong. So that is that is absolutely the way I came out of the box. I was just pre-programmed that way. I didn't have to learn it. So I have made so much by letting people think they were taking advantage of me when really it was to my benefit. And most people wouldn't do that. Most people would not allow themselves to be taken advantage of because of their own internal greed, and it will kill deals. And I'll give you a perfect example. In 2010, I did some consulting for Perry Belcher and Ryan Dice, and they were really, really enamored with me for some reason. And they offered me to do a basically an info product. I'd never done an info product before. I had always done commercial work. I did either consulting or my team actually did the work. And they said, hey, we would really love to do an info product with you. And I said, well, that sounds kind of cool. I've never done that before. And they said, hey, we'll promote it. We'll do all the stuff that we know how to do. You just do what you do and just record I forget what they called it, um, your brilliance, for lack of a better word. They said, you just lay it down, we'll do the rest, and we'll give you 30%, we'll take 70%. Now, most people would not take 30%. They'd say, oh, you can kiss my ass. That's my IP, and you're not getting it for that. I want the lion's share of it. And guess what would have happened if I did that? You guys wouldn't be on here with me today because I never would have gone over the fence. And Perry came back when I gave him no guff. I just said, yeah, that sounds great. Let's do it. And I was all on board. I was completely cooperative and I was 100% there to do whatever they wanted. And Perry came back and he said, he goes, he has this thing. He mixes words up for humor. He says, you're a real fart smeller. And at first I'm like, and he's saying smart feller. But he mixes them up and he thinks he's funny, but and he probably is. But anyway, that's what he called me. I said, why? What do you see what do you see around that corner? And he said, most people wouldn't have done that deal. And I said, yeah, I kind of figured that. And he said, why did you do it? I said, well, really, I don't have anything to lose and I only have things to gain. And he said, you are right on the money. He said, we're going to do the Oprah factor with you. He said, by us bringing you in front of our audience, you are going to make more money than you can imagine. And he called it the Oprah factor. And you can take like anybody and you put them, it could be a total nobody, which I was at the time. I was a complete unknown, complete nobody in the internet marketing space. In the commercial world space, I was the king. I was the one that they called. Everybody knew me. They all referred me and all that. But it wasn't really a world I wanted to live in. It was a nasty, greedy, cutthroat. I made a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but I just didn't enjoy the company. It's just, you just feel dirty. When you're in an environment where you don't feel good about the people you're working with, you just kind of feel dirty. So I was happy as I could be at the time and no complaints. I was living a really great lifestyle and all that. But you're always looking the grass is greener on the other side. So I thought, yeah, I want to take a look at their pasture, see what that looks like. So Perry said, we're going to put you out. And by the time we're done with you, everybody in this space is going to know who you are. And that's what they did. That's why you all get to know me at this point. Because of all that spider web of relationships that Perry and Ryan did by putting me out and endorsing me. They basically put me out in front of the world, dropped a crown on my head, and coronated me. Just like that. That's all it took. And there's, most people in the internet marketing space, maybe not today, because I haven't been near as active in the last, 5 years or so. But most of the old timers, they all definitely know me. Some of them don't particularly like me, but that's their problem, not mine. They don't like me because I expose their greed for the most part. But anyway, so don't be afraid to, and I only share that with you because I'm completely transparent with you guys of what makes me who I am and why I've had the successes that I have. So it comes down to that one, the art of war. Appear vulnerable when you're strong and appear strong when you're vulnerable.
You know what I think is unfortunate is that because I work with a lot of startup or I don't even want to say startup companies, but entrepreneurs. And they have that mentality, money hungry or however you started this thing, and they want to go after the big dogs and they're hungry and they want to make all this money and they don't even have a clear like what's your market dominating position? What makes you think you coming new to the game, you're gonna just get you know what I'm saying? And that is so irritating because I meet a lot and I just say, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I'm not the 10Xer, the 5Xer, the what Xer, go pay your money and wait, no, go waste your money and for the people that are trying to do the same thing you're doing, which is just go for the money bag. That's not me.
You might not have liked the younger version of me. Because
I would have liked you. I would have just said, I can't help you.
well,
I love them all. But I'm honest. I'm like, I can't help you.
the younger version of me was the exact polar opposite of the version of me now. Now I appear weak when I'm strong, right? I'm at the opposite end of the field now. But in the beginning, I was weak. I had no experience. I moved into a world I knew nothing about. When I moved into web development, I didn't even know how to turn on a computer, right? How much weaker could I have been? I was unqualified, uneducated, and jumping into a very deep swimming pool, not knowing how to swim. But it was the confidence that I exuded of the appearing strong when I was weak that got me all those jobs, that made me all that money in the commercial world. And I went in there like a bulldozer. I went in there with, I can do whatever you need. You tell me where the problem is and I'll crush it. And it's going to cost you this amount. And what I knew is if you give me enough money, I can figure it out. I never told them that, but I just said, here's the cost, take it or leave it. It's not negotiable. I again appeared very strong. And I never had a situation where I couldn't figure it out for the amount of money I asked for. So that was the younger version of me. And he was very different. He was not as nice as I am now.
But that's different than what I'm saying, and I do understand because I meet those types. But being that I'm in marketing and I help people to get leads, get business or whatever, I'm saying there's the people that they want is the big the big money. They want big money,
Yeah,
and so they come to you and they say, I want to meet people that can pay me what I'm worth. And I'm saying to myself, you ain't worth a nickel with a hole in it right now, but you want, so that's what I'm saying. It's that mentality
yeah,
that they come into the marketplace only wanting to reach this high level of consumer or business. And it's like, well, what do you have to offer?
yeah.
They're hunting whales in a puddle. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. They're just yeah, I don't
Wrong
know.
place. Wrong
Yeah.
place to find whales.
Yeah. I was just
I,
venting.
I
Just
guess the difference between me and them is I always had the drive to get it done and deliver. I never took on a project where I didn't deliver.
But how did you find the project? That's what I'm asking, is that
Oh,
even though you had that confidence and all of that at the beginning, did you expect someone else to bring you those whales, or did you go out and find those whales yourself?
it was they were already found for me, really. It was all through previous connections that I'd had that allowed me to move into whatever I wanted to move into.
Hmm.
And it was the confidence moving into that new space that allowed me to get the jobs.
And that makes sense. That makes total sense. But what doesn't make sense are the people that have no connections, they have no rapport,
Yeah,
and they just come on the scene and they say they want whales.
yeah. Now I've trained people to run like an agency business. Back in I think it was like 2010, 2011. I was teaching people how to do SEO. And what I realized is none of them wanted to do it for themselves. They didn't really even have businesses. And I'm like, I asked them, it was this group, this call right here used to be about SEO. That's where it started. And I asked them, I said, what are you here for? If you don't have something to SEO, like what are you here for? And they were just enamored with the whole idea of being able to get a top position. And I started talking about, okay, well, if you don't have something, you can offer this as a service and you can make a lot of money. So I started a whole new program called a reseller program. And in the reseller program, I said anybody that wants to upgrade, it was like 3 times the price per month. But I said, for those of you that want to upgrade, I will work with you on a second call per week. And that call will only be about how to run an agency, how to sell these services. I told them everything about my business, how I did it, what programs I used, the accounting program I used, showed them how to set everything up. And then there was a lot of them that jumped in. There was like, I think there was over 100 of them that jumped into that reseller program. And Connie probably remembers this because she supported a lot of the resellers.
You froze for a minute. I don't know if it was just me or
Yeah, I
Oh,
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit.
okay, yeah, you
I,
froze.
I
You
froze.
froze like this.
You said a lot jumped in, and
So a lot of them jumped in, and I started showing them how to run that business, how to do everything I did, all the programs I used, the accounting, got them all set up. And then I was saying, Connie probably remembers that because she supported a lot of those resellers for me. And, the thing was, we did that for several months and nothing happened. Nobody got a customer. And I'm like, all right, so somebody's doing something wrong, and I need to figure out if it's me or if it's them. So I called them all to the table and I said, look, we're going to have a come to Jesus meeting here. What's going on? How many people have you presented to? Because I gave them a flawless presentation. It's like, I've done this. It works. I know it works. It's not just hocus pocus that I pulled out of the air. And it came down to they were not doing the presentations. And when it came down to the why, they were scared. They were scared to actually take on a customer because they didn't have the confidence that they could deliver. And I'm like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. That's what's in your way. And I love to remove excuses. Like, that's one of my favorite things in life, is to take away your excuses. That's where my greed lives. If you have excuses, I'm going to take them from you. So I said, okay, you guys obviously believe that I can do this, right? And they did. They had a very high level of confidence that I could SEO and I could get people ranked. So I said, here's what I'm going to do. As part of your reseller program, I'm going to sell you my services at a wholesale level. I gave them the pricing of having my team do the SEO for them. And then they would mark it up. I recommended at least double what I was charging them. And at that point, they then started making sales because they didn't have to do the work that they weren't confident in. They were confident in the presentation. They were confident in talking to people and selling and all of that. So I said, all right, just stay in the box you're good at. And my team will do the rest. So we white labeled all of our services and cut that army loose. And the next thing I did, and this really spurred it on, because I was highly motivated to grow the business at the time. So I said, we're going to do a little contest. And what you'll find when you have a following, if people are following you, they crave more interaction with you. They crave like live in-person stuff. It's like they want to reach out and touch you. They want to touch the cloth, is the saying. So I said, we're going to do a contest in the next 90 days. We're going to start today. And the next 90 days, whoever opens up the most SEO accounts, I don't care how big they are or how small they are, we had a minimum. But I said, whoever opens up the most accounts in the next 90 days, I'm going to take you and a friend and pay for it on a cruise. And I'm going to hang out with you. And holy shit, the floodgates opened up. And these guys were bugging the shit out of me to find out if they were in first place for 90 days. And I finally said, I can't really say because I didn't want to slow anybody down. I would just tell them, yeah, you're close. You're in the running. And they opened up a little over $1 million worth of business for me on the wholesale end in 90 days. So I increased the inflow into my business by $1 million in 90 days of doing that. So it's like, if you want a model that works, gain a following and do a contest where they get to come and be with you, and they will work their asses off to get that. I did the same thing 2 more times, not even for myself. I did it for a charity. We did 2 different years. We did Toys for Tots at Christmas time. And I put out to my whole client base, I said, we're getting toys, we're taking donations, we're doing this toy drive with the Marines, Toys for Tots. And I said, you're welcome to contribute. It doesn't matter if you go through me. We just want to get this done. But I said, anybody that has the biggest donation will get me for a day. A whole day, whatever you want. You want me to build you a website? You want to just consult? You want to go fishing? I don't care. You get me for the whole day. Whatever, do with me whatever you want. I just don't care. And we got so many donations that when the Marines came out to pick up the stuff, the commander, he called back and he's like, "We're gonna need a bigger truck." They had to send a 40-foot semi, and they filled it. I had my whole garage was filled, my living room was filled, the driveway was filled, and there was three guys that were again bugging the shit out of me to find out if they were in the lead. And finally, they were just absolutely driving me nuts. And I finally picked a number and I just said, all right, whoever comes up with $2,500 will get me for the day. So all three of them just threw it down just instantly. So we had gathered like, I don't know, it was well over 20 grand worth of stuff. And then and nobody wanted to send the toys. They were just sending money. They were just, sending PayPal cash. And what I did, I cashed that in and I gave Barb the cash and I said, go shopping. Go shopping for the kids. And I said, negotiate. I said, go to the store manager and negotiate. Find out what they have excess inventory in. Find out what is back stock, all of that stuff. And she cut deals with like Walmart and Target and all this stuff. And she got like 4 times the amount for the money. She told them what she was doing. They were totally into it. And I mean, she just cleaned house. So contests, giving yourself up is the prize. I mean, that sounds kind of freaky, but if you have an audience, if you've got followers, if you've got fans, believe me, they want more interaction with you. They'll do crazy stuff to get it. So anyway, I probably flew way off on a tangent there. I don't even remember what the initial question was. All right. Anybody else? Anything you want me to go over? Or... Yeah, go ahead, Danielle.
At the beginning of the call, you talked about having an offer on a thank you page, and I have it written down as in a lead magnet. Or is it when they buy something? It's like, because when they get a lead magnet, then they get an email with the lead magnet. It's how it works with what I do.
Well, I do the email too, but I always give them a thank you page. And again, this goes back to the art of war.
I've never read that.
I haven't either, but it's just the concept. So here's what happens. There will be people that don't want to give you their email address. But if it's a free lead magnet that's going to lead them to become a fan, I don't want that to get in our way. I don't want that to hamper the generation of a relationship.
So your lead magnets don't collect emails?
They do.
Okay.
But here's the thing. When they put in their name and their email address, I will allow them to put in a bogus email address. Now, with you, if they put in a bogus email address, they don't get your email.
Mm-hmm.
With me, they don't get my email either, but they get my thank you page, so they get the thing. And again, okay, I'm letting them feel like they took advantage of me.
So you put the download or whatever right on the thank you page.
Yes. And then the email is a link back to the thank you page, because what that does is that drives traffic to that page, which that's SEO gold. Driving traffic from emails to a landing page or any page is absolute gold for your domain. So there's
Okay.
multiple reasons of why I do it that way.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm in a completely different industry than what it sounds like all you guys are. So, like,
That I doubt that matters. These
well,
principles.
I'm have taken a whole page of notes here, so I appreciate it. I'm in the trauma space, so I'm a coach and a speaker in the trauma space. I'm not into marketing or anything, or the web thing and all
Yeah,
that stuff. So,
no, this absolutely applies to you. I know there's a lot of people that will tell me, oh, well, I do something different and it works differently, but I can almost guarantee you it's the same.
well, there's differences, but I see your process. There's certain sameness in it, and I just got the ACT suite just last week or like that, and the build a buyer thing was just it was beautiful, almost brought tears to my eyes. And
Yeah.
then yesterday, I put one of my build a buyers into ChatGPT and had it do an Instagram post, a TikTok script, and an Instagram reel script, and I did another one today. So,
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. We actually have a tool in the suite. It's for affiliates. So you could go in and act as your own affiliate and say, create materials to market my product. And it would create the same thing, even though you're not an affiliate, but it create the same content for you.
okay.
So, and that's what it does. It kind of creates different content for different posting on different platforms.
Mm.
So it's pretty cool. There's other stuff. I'm working on some really advanced tools for the Quantum Suite. And what they're going to do is they're going to actually break down some of the best sales letters in history and break them down by the JSON code. Because AI works in behind the scenes. This might get way more technical than most of you want to bite into, but I'll go there anyway, just for the hell of it. But it runs on JSON. So all of its language models is broken down, and that is its language. That's the language that it loves. So when we're speaking in English, it's having to interpret that through the use of JSON, and then it outputs using JSON. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a stellar sales letter, and I'm going to put it in, and I'm going to say, can you give me the JSON breakdown of this framework? And then it's going to tell me in its own language how it was built. It's going to give me all the parameters. And then I'm going to say, could you build me a framework using this JSON framework to write this letter and turn it into a GPT for me? Then it's going to know I'm going to be speaking its language on its terms. And it's going to give me the framework to build a GPT inside of the Quantum platform to do sales letters. I'll ask it, what do you need to fill in to replicate this model framework of writing style? And I think it's going to be magical. I think it's going to be every bit as good as that build a buyer script.
Awesome.
And that build a buyer script, that GPT is like 13 pages long. To get that to do, the prompt is like 13 pages. So I'm curious to see how many pages the sales letter is going to be. But I could do it for a webinar. I could take somebody's webinar format and I could have it break it down in the JSON language and basically give me the framework in JSON to rebuild and create those things.
Cool.
That's
And another question. You were talking about the alternative to Zoom, and what is the name of that?
It's called Meeten.
How do you spell that?
MEETN. And like Nancy.
Okay. Yeah, because I Googled it while you were talking about it, but I spelled it wrong.
Okay.
Hey, John, I have a question about your lead magnet thank you page.
Okay.
You accept a bad email
Uh-huh.
and you knowingly, and yes, I agree, that sense of taking advantage of you does make you interested in that person. There's some mental endorphins that you associate with that person when you've gotten something, and then you value what you got.
Yeah.
But the question is now you have a bad email. How do you close that loop? How do you A, get the correct email, and then B, make sure that the system uses the correct, not the bad?
Well, that's an easy one. You leave it on them. If they get value out of the thing that you give them, that thing that you give them should lead them back to you. And they're going to know it. It's not like they did it on accident. I mean, sometimes, yeah,
Right.
you can get it on accident, but it's going to do a couple of things. Like you said, it's going to activate those endorphins. It's going to make them like you more, and it's also going to make them feel a little bit guilty. So that might help you in your sales process.
Cool. Thanks, John.
Yeah.
I mean, John, I just had with a giveaway thing I did for a guy in Tennessee, where they had to stay in my system to get the program in Kartra, right? You opt out, it takes you off the membership. Well, 3 days later, they opted back in again because they wanted the membership and realized, oh crap, I can't get that. And I mean, I bet you can look at a log in Kartra to see what they did. And that's what you did. You just you provide them value that they go, oh crap, that's the way I got to get the value. I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. The more you offer people, the stickier you become. Have you guys heard that term sticky? Like sticky content. Sticky content makes them keep coming back. It's like when you have sticky content, your level of stickiness, usually sticky isn't a good thing, but in this case it is. The stickier you are, the longer you will hold their attention, and the longer you can do client retention. Like a lot of people have client retention problems because they sell them. They're really good at marketing, so they're really good at sales, but they're not good at delivery. They're not good at performing on the relationship, or some of them aren't even really good at delivering the goods that they promised. And that's the opposite of sticky. That's like repellent. You don't expect them to come back. Don't expect them to buy more from you if you don't give them a good experience. That's repellent. But sticky is like they can't get enough. They want more. So when you make like retention, I want to keep everybody in the ACT program forever. It's my personal greed, but it's the greed so I can help you. I know as soon as you leave, you're done. Unless you've got a high performance business, as soon as you leave me, your odds diminish rapidly. That's just the truth. You don't have some place where you can go to get what you need. And I can assure you, no one else that you're going to buy stuff in this marketplace from is going to care about you at the level I do. I guarantee that. You're going to buy a bunch of stuff. You're going to have the same experience over and over and over. And as soon as you stop paying them that big money, they're done with you. Your chances of getting back in touch with them, not unless you got another pile of cash. You know, here I've made it so affordable, but yet it was a question of how do I make it more sticky? And the Quantum Suite makes it sticky as all get up because it's got those tools that you'll need over and over and over throughout your whole business life. Maybe you'll figure out the ACT program and you'll get that, and that'll just become second nature to you. And then you'll feel, okay, I don't need that anymore. So, you'll just give it up and go on. But if I provide more and more that you're going to need on an ongoing basis, I become sticky. So you stay with me longer. We get to have a longer lasting relationship.
I sense a contest coming on here about selling Quantum and the ACT program here, that if enough of us sell it, we get to go for a boat rider.
I was just discussing
Yes,
with Brady.
yes, let's do that.
Brady literally just brought that up to me this week.
Well, I mean,
Only if
not to bring the
Brady
conversation
makes
back to where it
peanut butter
started, but hell yeah.
know where Gina's going already.
You mean, well, yeah, well, I'm going to tell you, first of all, I'm not going to compete against Gina because I know that woman. She will win.
Well, yeah, there's a lot deeper thing to that.
There's a lot. Yeah. I've been around her wanting to win. I've seen it up close and experienced it.
Well, believe me, if I not if when I set this contest up, not one of you will win. You'll all win.
A boatload of
I'm
you
going
will
in,
win,
come,
John.
I'll win.
What was that, Shanta?
A boatload of you will win.
That's right. A boatload of you will win. I'm actually doing a thing. I don't know if I told you guys. Uh, Damian Zamora is doing a private mastermind group. I don't know how much he's charging for it, but and again, it's his audience. They crave more with him. So he's down right now today in Newport Beach at a yacht club doing a private mastermind group with his high-end customers. And we were talking a couple months ago, and he was asking me if I wanted to come down and participate, and give him some content. I said, I can do you one better. You go, how about when your mastermind's over, I show up at the dock at the yacht club, pick you guys all up, and take you over to Catalina for the weekend. So that's what I'm doing tomorrow morning. They're all going to show up at the yacht club tomorrow morning, get on the boat, and we're going to Catalina for the weekend. So there's more people in his mastermind that I could actually sleep on the boat. So they're getting a hotel at Catalina. So I'll take them across. We'll hang out all day. We'll barbecue on the boat. We'll send them into the shore on the shore boat, and they'll go to their hotel. And then Saturday they'll come back on the boat. We'll do some fishing, send another barbecue. Hopefully fish tacos, fresh fish tacos. Hopefully Saturday night, and then we'll send them back to their hotel. And then Sunday we'll take them home.
I'm sure he jumped on that offer.
Oh, he was all over that. So that's going to be cool. And that kind of stuff is really fun for me. Like, people have asked me, what are you going to do when XRP hits and you're like, wealthier than God? I said, well, I'll probably parse out most of the stuff I don't really want to do anymore, which is almost everything. But this and the boat isn't going away. I still want to help and provide for everyone that needs the help and have fun on the boat. Probably combine the two. So you won't lose me altogether, but you'll lose me in some capacity.
Just don't throw everything away and say, I'm going to double down and I've got this with confidence. Yeah, because you'll find out that you should have saved a little bit of something.
Oh, I could be done right now, honestly.
I was there and not now, yeah, because I was going to double down.
That's awesome. For those of you,
I'll come back though. It doesn't matter to me. I'll come back. I just got to work for a while again.
Oh yeah, that's it. For those of you that are in the XRP community, you're probably celebrating right now. A little premature, but it's still exciting to see it all coming to fruition. Cool stuff. I know Gina's probably pretty excited right now. Well, let me just tell you, you ain't seen nothing yet. This is just a pre-shock. This isn't even the landslide. All right. Anything else before we wrap up here? Oh, I know. I wanted to show you guys. I'm going to show you guys that page that Perry just took me to pieces over. All right. So this is our basically our landing page for the Act Quantum bundle that we're selling through ClickBank. And I thought it looked beautiful. And what Perry said was, he goes, what the hell is that? He goes, are you selling the girl? Because he said, if you are, I'm buying. But he said, the rest, I don't know what you're doing here. He goes, you're just showing your logos and nobody cares. Nobody's going to buy your logo. What does it do? What does it specifically do for me? And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, what in the hell have I done? I put up front something beautiful that I created, which was very egotistical, and it means nothing to the person that's going to buy this. So he said that logo should be a little tiny postage stamp up in the corner, if at all. So that if you need it for compliance, do it. And then he said this. He's like, what does that mean? Massive sales growth. How do I even measure that? He said, what people want is they want to do less work and make more money. And it doesn't say that. And I'm like, holy shit. You know, he's absolutely right. I'm making the wrong promise. I'm making something that, again, I thought in my head sounded good. And by the way, I did follow the big idea formula, but I didn't have the analysis. And this is a perfect example of jumping into creation. I was creating a big idea, not basing it on analysis. I was basing it on what's inside my head versus what's inside the prospect's head. That is a huge mistake, by the way. And one that I am not beyond making because I did it again. So I sympathize with you guys on how difficult this is. And it's so much easier for me to do this for someone else than it is for myself because I just couldn't see it until he pointed that out. Now, he got into the video, you know, he watched the video where I was doing my thing and he said, that's actually pretty good. A copywriter actually wrote the script for that video. It was a little spammy for me, so I kind of toned it down and put it more into my voice. But he said, I don't have a problem with the video at all. Said the video will probably convert, but he said nobody's going to watch it. He said you didn't hook them. And that's what I tell you guys. Every time you have to grab their attention if you want a shot at creating demand and desire. The video creates demand and desire. It eliminates objections and it makes an offer. The video did its thing, but I missed one piece, which kills the whole deal. I didn't grab attention. So they'll never consume the video. So it's really important. Like if you miss on one step of act, your goose is cooked. So doing your analysis and really figure out what's in your prospect's head. What do they really want and why do they want it? And then create your big idea, your attention grabber based around that. That is so, so, so important. So
what do you plug into the tool for the big idea from your analysis? If you have your analysis and then you go to the big idea, what do you take from your analysis to put into the big idea?
The big idea I think it has 2 or 3 different things that it asks for. So like it's going to ask for your market, it's going to ask for your product, stuff like that. So you just fill out the form for the big idea. It's going to want to know what your promise is. Mm-hmm. The promise comes from the build a buyer. It comes from that mind reading of what do they want? What's their real problem? How do they perceive it? Look at the part of the build a buyer where it's giving you their desired outcome.
The desired outcome, because it's 8 pages long. So it's like, what part of it do you use? So
because in the big idea, it's going to ask you for the promise. It's going to ask you for your unique mechanism. Like, what are you selling? That's your product generally is your unique mechanism. It's the thing that delivers the result. So you really need to get those things right.
Okay. I've done it twice. I'm not sure if I did it right. So I have to go back and look again.
Well, don't be afraid to bring them on here. Don't be afraid to like show us what you've done and let me critique it for you. That's what this is for. So don't ever be afraid to like bring something on and say, hey, did I do this right? Or could I do this better?
Okay.
Hey, John, just a quick comment too. I know you've changed your original homepage, and I like Pretty Girls as much as the next guy. But I have to say, the easiest, quickest way I can filter out a quality product from a spam is every spam that hits my box has a pretty girl, and now it's pretty AI girl. That's just an instant, oh, this is a spam fluff tool. Yeah. So that I know they get attention, but for me, it's just the quickest filter.
Yeah, no, I get it. I got smacked between the forehead with that 2x4. Harry got me good on it.
He can do that.
Oh God, yeah, he's really good at it. So anyway, I won't bore you with with the rest of this, but that was the main thing. It's like your first few seconds of engagement are critical because that determines whether you're going to continue or not. It's like I equate a lot of the stuff to dating. You can get a no in the first 3 seconds really fast if you don't ask right. And, the idea is to keep them engaged, keep them coming, micro commitments, focus on what's important to them. And nothing on the top of this page above the fold is going to be viewed as important to them, unless you're Roger and you like pretty girls. And I'm right there with you, Roger. That's why she's here. And it was.
That's awesome, John.
But anyway, smack me again. I fall for the pretty girl.
Oh, hey, I don't want to derail you. I just want to mention, I noticed this is a thing about last week. When I'm off video, because right now I'm chopping a salad with Michelle. When I'm off video, I don't get my picture, and I thought, oh, and I didn't have my name either. It just went all blank, so I got the name in, but I can't find a way on mobile to get my picture in. My picture never disappeared on the same account on the PC. So if I find the settings, it works on the PC. So I don't know whether you change your settings so that we can't use photos, because I see it's true of a lot of people. But there's some people that I think are on video that do have photos. So I don't know what Zoom changed, just FYI.
Well, just for your info, I'm on a different computer here on the boat, and it's giving me a completely different look. Like I only see a few of you. Usually I see all of you, and I can page to the side. But
there's a setting that says suppress viewing off-screen people. I bet that's what's happening.
Yeah, it might be a setting just on this computer, but
I feel like 2 weeks ago they just changed all of my default settings just because they wanted to, because it's Zoom.
Yeah, I've noticed with Zoom they keep changing different stuff. Like it seems like every time I log in, it makes me update software, and then something's wonky or different or something.
Yeah, they're catching the Zuckerberg complex. Yeah, I can do anything I want because I'm big.
Well, next week we'll have a meeting.
And when you bounce back to Zoom, I'll reconnect with you. I don't see myself abandoning Zoom.
Well, you don't have to abandon Zoom to go to Meetin. You just click a link and open it in the browser. It's not a big deal. So, okay. All right, Shantha.
John, I have a question about which tool to use best. So if I have an event that we've been to or hosted, and I have a bunch of videos and photographs of that event, which is the best tool on Quantum or out of Quantum that I could use to create a video?
If you're going to create a video from like a website, Video Genesis is really, really good. Now, any tool that you use, whether you're using Quantum tools or any of the other tools out there, the AI video tools, they're really good at a glance, but they could be so much better with your customization. So what I'll usually do is I'll let Video Genesis create the base video. It writes the script, it does the scenes, it does all the images. But then where it's appropriate, I'll go back and I'll edit that video and I'll drop in my own images.
Okay.
And my own specific images to me, to my business. And I've had such a ball using the Act Imager to create images for my marketing. It just makes such incredible images. And I just made some, Delilah was doing a presentation this week and I was helping her. And she had these bullet points. And one of her bullet points was kind of a derogatory thing. And I said, why don't you call it snake oil? Because everyone's heard that. And so she loved that. So she changed the bullet to snake oil. And I said, you should have an image that's like a potion bottle with a snake coming out of it. I said, well, hold on, let me make it for you. And I went into the Act Imager and I said, make a magical potion bottle with a snake coming out of it showing his fangs. And boom, like 10 seconds later, the most phenomenal image. And she just absolutely loved it. So she put that in her presentation. You can make your presentation so graphically interesting using AI for the imagery. It's amazing. And you do the same thing with your videos.
Okay.
But I wouldn't use I've never seen like an AI video create really, really good dynamic images. They're usually hokey to begin with. And they're hardly ever really on target. But you can go in and you can create your own images and pop them in and then make it, turn it into something 10 times better. And if you noticed, when I did my last video, I did all the Act Imager images for the whole video for each scene. And then I took them in and I animated the images. I turned the images into video using the Clipster product.
Okay.
The Clipster Vidco product. And that's something you guys all get for free. If you go into the Quantum Suite, there's a new button up on the top to get the free AI video software. And it's called Clipster. The actual program itself is called Vidco. It's by Vidco. I just put a Clipster brand on it to make it cool, and white label it for my business. But the actual software is called Vidco. And what you do, you select an image and you just tell it, what you want it to do. And it brings it to life. It'll make like a 5-second or a 10-second animated clip of that image.
Oh, that would be great.
Which did you guys see any of what that does? Like, let me.
That would be great for creating social media too, the reels and things like that.
Let me show you guys. Like, almost every image in this video was brought to life with Clipster. So I'll just play the first few minutes. I'll play to the point where it gets to the magic wand. And you guys can see. Now, this is actually me. This is the real me here. And it introduces the video, and then it goes into the fake me, which is all AI. After the first few seconds, this entire video is AI. So check this out. What you're about to see is the most powerful innovation to business in our lifetime, and maybe ever. And you might be a little freaked out about it. You might think it's awesome, but it's the power of AI. And this video is going to demonstrate that power and the ability to clone yourself in business. And I'm telling you right now, this is the biggest opportunity for small business owners ever. It gives them the leverage and power to use AI to level the playing field. So once we begin, it's not going to be me. It's an AI version of me. So check it out. I'll be back at the end to check in with you and see what you thought. There's a massive obstacle to making more income today. For anyone wanting to start a business and earn extra money, it's the one big thing that's going to hold them back. It's the fact that they don't know anything about marketing, not to mention social media, making videos, copywriting, graphic design, business strategy, product sourcing, customer support. and dozens of other required skills. Before long, they realized that running a business is not as simple as they thought. They actually need to juggle a dozen jobs that they don't know anything about, so they never start. Or worse yet, they try, struggle for a while, and then quit. Not having all the required skills feels like you're drowning in quicksand. And the cost of paying for having all this done can quickly drain all your savings. Well, what if you had a revolutionary set of game-changing AI tools that could do all this and so much more? Tools that help you market like a pro, even if you've never done any of it before. Would that give you the advantage you need to go for it? Do you have a business idea, or maybe just a whisper of one? Because if you do, right now is hands down the best time in history to start your very own business. Let me say this very clearly so it sinks in. With the help of AI, you can absolutely start a low-risk, low-cost business today, or scale the one you have with ease like never before. Whether you love AI or you've never used it before, whether you're 23 or 73, working full-time or between jobs, you're about to see how ridiculously simple it is to build a profitable business of your own. Profitable, flexible, and powered by tools that will make you feel like a fairy godmother just gave you a magic wand. You might think I'm crazy, but I've already shown. So that was the magic wand I was talking about. This video goes for almost an hour.
Wow.
It gets to the call to action, probably about 20 or 30 minutes in. But then it just keeps eliminating objections, re-offering, all that stuff. But the AI version of me talks faster than I do for a purpose, because I talk fairly slow. And if you've never met me or anything, I might come off as a little mundane. So the AI video talks a little bit faster to get to the point quicker because it's more effective. And he can do that easier than I can. He can also read a script without screwing it up. I'm incapable of that. So, especially when I'm trying to keep eye contact with, in the video. But all of those images, all of those little video clips, those were all just still images that the Clipster brought to life. I literally just said what I wanted it to do. Like I made the fairy godmother with the magic wand, and I said, bring her to life with the magic wand. And, there it was. She came to life. All of those were still images created with the Act Imager originally, and then brought into the Vidco Clipster product and animated. So, that video, the quality of that video, you would probably spend 20 grand to get an hour-long video production like that done. And it took me a while. I had to create all those images. That was probably a day's worth of work to do all of that. But, it's a $20,000 production. And it's, and I'm not a professional, I'm not a professional video editor or anything. I'm not really a professional anything. But, it came out pretty decent.
Yeah, looks great. Yeah, I have tons of images or access to them, so this will be great if I can take it and replace it and animate those.
Yeah, absolutely. And now in the Video Genesis, you can not only drop in still images, you can drop in animated clips like that.
Okay.
So that will make your video just spectacular.
Do you have the framework for that? That's like that's a sales video slash webinar. Did you follow a sales webinar format, or did you follow a different format because it's embedded and it's a sales video?
Yeah,
or are they the same thing?
I actually hired a copywriter to write that sales copy for me.
You hired a copywriter.
I did. I paid $10,000 to have that copy written.
Wow.
And the only reason that I did, and I've got to tell you, for that price, I was fairly disappointed. But here's why I did it. We were going into ClickBank, and this is potentially a 7 to 8 figure launch if we can get it right, get it all dialed in. So I took the recommendation of the guy that was guiding us in the process, and he said, this copywriter knows how to write copy for the ClickBank audience. He's really good and all of that. And he did, I'll give it to him. He did a pretty good job. And I know a lot of the presentations I've seen in ClickBank follow his formula and all that. But it didn't really feel like me. It was a little pushy, it was a little spammy. And I'm like, all right, I'll follow the framework, but I need to make it feel more like me. So I rewrote it, not completely, but I altered it to where it was stomachable for me. And because I'm not going to put something out that I'm not congruent with. So I changed it up a little bit. I spent a day, rewrote it, and then went to work. And the other thing too is they were recommending that I go with this video company to take it and do the video of it, and they wanted $10,000 to $20,000 for that. So that would have wound up being about 30 grand to put that video together. But I was able to hold it to 10. And quite honestly, if I were to do it again, I wouldn't have paid the 10. I would have just done it, and it would have been just fine. But
so if I were to take that video and transcribe it, could I use that and have it create a framework to follow for a different product?
Yes, you could absolutely do that. And that's what I'm going to do with AI. I'm going to have JSON analyze it, or I'm going to have AI analyze it into JSON language. And then I'm going to create a GPT in the Quantum Suite to write a webinar like that with that framework. So,
because that was what I was going to do.
I'm going to make it really easy for you.
Since I have God mode also.
Yeah, no, I'm going to make it really easy for you.
How soon are you going to have that finished?
That's a good question. I have a few extra things on my plate right now that are kind of in the forefront, but that shouldn't really take me that long. I mean, you know how fast I can make tools for the suite.
Yeah. So
it's just a matter of me sitting down for an hour, and the longest.
If you're too busy to do it soon, perhaps I can take a crack at it, and you can help me do that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not a problem.
Because if I create it in my white label, would you be able to pull it back into the standard quantum? Or could I just give you the code?
No, I can just take the code and put it in there. If I put it in mine, then it will translate to yours.
But I don't want to wait.
I get it. You're just excited to eat those burgers.
And eat some hamburgers.
Well, maybe I should prioritize it though. I may push that up because that is a really. You're not the only one that has expressed an interest in that one. It's as far as the Quantum Suite, it's pretty high priority.
Yeah, because I've been playing around with the perfect webinar format.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I haven't gotten one completed yet.
Yeah. Is that Ryan Dice's perfect webinar?
Well, the perfect webinar is Russell Brunson, but I mean, they're all the same as far as like.
No, Russell copied that. That was from. Oh God, the guy that does the Marketers Cruise, Phil Same. Mike Phil Same did the perfect webinar, and then everyone's copied it.
Right.
I've mastered the imperfect webinar. Does that count for anything? I just keep screwing up and taking on new clients, and I don't care.
It's awesome. Danielle, go ahead.
I just wanted to know which tool you used in Quantum to clone yourself.
That was actually not in Quantum. I did that in HeyGen.
In what?
HeyGen. It's HeyGen. GE.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And that was what I used. I've tried a bunch of them, and HeyGen is probably the best one I've found yet, but it does need training.
Mm,
Like when you create your avatar in HeyGen, it takes like a 2 to 3 minute video of you on camera, just talking. It doesn't matter what you talk about. You can literally just talk about anything.
okay.
And it gets your voice, it gets your person, and then you have a clone. The first clone that you do isn't going to be that great. I was fairly disappointed with it until they say you can make up to 200 different variations of the clone. Like you might change your clothes, you might change your environment, and then you do a second one. When you do the second one, it blends the two and it gets so much better. And then you do a third one and it just keeps getting better the more of those that you do. So if you can do like 6 different variations, it'll be pretty dialed in. It'll
Okay.
have you pretty wired.
Yeah, I got an account after that. You did the meeting with Sue last week.
Okay.
You mentioned that.
Yeah, yeah. But make sure that you do the different variations because that makes a huge difference. The first one I did, I was like, it's okay, but it's not great. And then the second one was like, oh wow, this actually is pretty good. And then the third one is like, okay, I get it. It just needs training.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
And then if you want how did you guys feel about the voice? Did it come across as my voice pretty well?
Yeah.
Because I think if I wanted the voice better, I could go to 11 Labs. I think 11 Labs has the best voice cloning I've seen. But the HeyGen was, I think it's good enough. And to get everything all in one at HeyGen for $30 a month that's pretty good. So that's what I would recommend if you want to do the voice clone. We tried it. We're testing it in Quantum. If you go in, there's a new module called the spokesperson, and it's an attempt at cloning. So you can go in there and play with it, but it's not going to be as good as HeyGen. But if you want a free way to kind of play around and test it, you can play with that one. So some of the tools, like some of the stuff that's really advanced, I just can't pull off with a single GPT. Like the tools in the Quantum Suite, those are all GPT tools. And I've been asked, to do a Gamma. Gamma makes presentations. If you haven't seen that, Gamma is amazing. If you need like PowerPoint presentations, Gamma, you can give it a single line and it will make you an entire presentation around that topic. And they're absolutely beautiful. I mean, it'll look like $1 million. And I've been asked, oh, well, could you make a Gamma tool? And I'm like, yeah, that's more than just a GPT. That is a very advanced program. That's doing a lot of different functions all at once. And HeyGen's the same way. HeyGen is very advanced. It's not just a standard GPT. So, all right. Well, anything else before we wrap up? All right, guys. Well, next week I will give this a try and we'll do Meetin and see how that works. We'll try something new.
And you're going to record it?
Oh yeah, I record everything.
Okay, because I can't be here next week. I have somewhere I have to be. So I'm like, I had to be here this week.
Well, I'll actually put some links in there and we can test that and make sure that works and all that. That is one thing. Any of you guys that are interested in advancing and all of that, looking for a mastermind group, I always talk about Perry Belcher. He's got an amazing mastermind group, and he gives away enormous value. I'm an affiliate from his, and they're going to be doing an affiliate contest, I think next week. So I am going to promote it for him. So I'll be pushing those links out to you guys for anybody that is interested in that. But one of the things that if you're in his mastermind, you get access to all of his live events, which most of his live events are $500, one off. And he's actually taking over TNC, the Traffic and Conversion Conference that finally ended. It's no longer in existence. So he's trying to rebuild that. And he's calling it growth hacking. And he's really brilliant. And his first growth hacking event is going to be in September in San Diego. And I will be there if any of you guys want to go to that. I'm going to be promoting just the live event next week. It's not his mastermind group, but if you go to it, he's going to pitch the mastermind group to you also if you're interested in that. It's pretty amazing. They have a lot of support if you're considering Go High Level or you have Go High Level. I would highly recommend it because he's got some stellar support for Go High Level in there. I'm not a Go High Level guy, so I'm all about Kartra. So you got that here for sure.
What are the dates, John?
It's September. Let me look here. It's the 22nd through the 24th.
Okay.
That's a Monday through Wednesday in September. But like I said, I'll be down there if you guys want to get together and go out to eat or hang out afterwards or whatever. That will be available. So who knows? I might do something in conjunction with it as well for all of our people here. So, but if you go to that, I think the deal that I'm going to be able to offer you is the early bird deal, and I think it's going to be like $295. And if you do that, if you pay the $295 and you go to the event, you decide you want to join his mastermind. I was going to talk to him and see if he was willing to put that toward it. And usually he does, but I'm just going to make sure I buzz his ear about that. Anybody that bought into that, I want that credited to if you decide to go forward with them.
How much is his mastermind?
His mastermind is $3,000 a year.
Okay.
And it's a lot of value because he puts on an event almost every month. And a lot of them, they're all virtually broadcast, so you don't have to travel to them. But his big events, he does at least 3 big events every year that might be worth traveling to. Usually he breaks them up between San Diego, Las Vegas, and Orlando. So he's got some on the East Coast, some on the West Coast, and Las Vegas, which is in the middle. Or not really in the middle, but
Is the one in San Diego going to be recorded?
no.
No. Oh gosh. Okay.
Usually his big live events, he doesn't do the recording on them. All of the mastermind members, they do record it. They don't broadcast it. So all the mastermind members do get the recordings, but it's not like broadcast out to the public. It's cool stuff. So I'll let you guys in on that. I'll have the links next week, and I'll put those out. So I'll put them in the meeting. Then you could just click them right in the meeting.
John, did you say he does record the live events for members?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't do the broadcast. Like if you're a member, every one of his events he live casts except for the live events, and he records them. And then you can get the recordings. So one way or another, members get recorded everything.
And what kind of training is in the membership? Are there like videos or
Oh,
things to follow through? Or
yeah,
quotes?
he has a ton of stuff. In fact, next week I'll share the screen. I'm on my boat computer and I don't have access to it here, but when I get in the office, I'm pretty sure I'll be in the office next week. I can share the screen and I can show you all the courses that he's done that you get access to. And he's got some really good training, I'll tell you.
I'm sure he has some GPT tools in there too, right?
Oh yeah, he's all about, like, two of his live events are all about AI, the AI bot summits. And he does one East and one West. And then now he's doing the growth hacking, which is that's going to be I think that's going to turn into a monster. That's going to take all the people that used to be in TNC and convert them, because they all want him. They all want to follow him. And when that all fell apart, it was like that was a huge opening for him to take advantage of. I just knew I could count on him to do that.
John, you have created so much intellectual property. Do you have your intellectual property protected?
Yeah,
You have no interest in that?
not really.
Okay.
I
I'm an affiliate with my former mentor. I was a part of his mastermind and everything, and he has a app that you can protect your intellectual property, each thing, and it's the first one's free. And
good.
that it's $97. You put whatever you want in there, and it's protected on the blockchain.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Now,
So if anyone's interested in that information, I can get information, and like I said, the first one's free. So
yeah, yeah. If you want to get info to me, I'm happy to share it with the group for you. But I just know, like, I've done trademarking and copywriting and all that
and that
stuff.
takes years. This you get it protected in a matter of a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
You gather what you want to do. That's where it would take you time of whatever you wanted to protect, but then you upload it and it's protected. It's got a contract number. It's called a smart contract. I probably know just enough to get myself in trouble rather than be able to explain it well. But I trust this man implicitly. He has helped me so much. So I don't know if you know him. His name is Kerry Oberbrunner. Have you ever heard of him?
No, no, I never heard of them.
So yeah, he's with the organization Igniting Souls. He's got a publishing company now. Now he actually teaches at a college as well, but he's been really going into the whole intellectual property and the whole online world of the metaverse and things like that. And I sat under him for a year and a half about that, just so I wasn't illiterate.
Yeah.
but
That
but
might be interesting. I've looked a lot into blockchain stuff for finance, and I know
yeah.
in the near future everything's going to run on blockchain.
Oh yeah, it's fascinating and how they protect everything as it is. But like I said, I probably know just enough to get myself in trouble.
Yeah, like for me, as far as like protecting it, all the stuff that I made is made to put out to help as many people as possible. And it works off of a goodwill thing. Like if somebody gets something that I've made and they share it with somebody, the chances that that person is going to come now and become a customer is pretty high. Whereas if I were to, put guardrails on everything and say, oh, this is mine, you can't share it and all of that, it would eliminate that opportunity for me. It's kind of back to that vulnerability thing. Appear weak when you're strong.
Well, part of it is like who got to market first is what it's about. Who got to market first? It's a timestamp, so.
Yeah, and really, honestly, all the stuff that I've got, none of it really is original. Like the whole ACT program is built off of the
Well, there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like all the stuff is the only thing about me that's proprietary is the way I explain it. Like nobody explains how an ad agency works the way I've done with ACT. Nobody gives out the formula like for Big Idea, or the formula for Benjamin Franklin of how he overcame objections. All of that stuff is my proprietary. I've unraveled it and turned it into a recipe.
Mhm.
Still, I give that stuff out freely on free webinars, like in Alignable and all kinds of stuff, just to help people, and it creates goodwill that brings them back as customers.
Yeah, it reminds me of
I'm
Paul,
sure
the
that's why
Paul guy
you're
who wrote
here.
the book, the Alchemist.
Yeah,
How his book got so famous because someone stole it, and he's like, "Well, let them steal it and put it around. It gets some more places."
yeah. I'm sure that's why you're here. You saw me sharing stuff on Alignable.
Yeah, I was at the video with you and Sue last week.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Cool. I'm actually supposed to meet with Sue this afternoon. She's coming down to the boat. We're going to talk about doing more promotions.
Oh, cool.
So she's in town. She travels a lot, but she's
Yeah.
down this way right now. So, all right. Well, I will go ahead and wrap her up for today. And everybody have a great week. And
You
I'm
too,
off.
and thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm off to play over at Catalina for the weekend.
Have a blast.
Well,
Thank you, John.
all right. And Gina, we will not be bringing Brady's balls on this trip, so
Oh,
no fantasies about that.
that's too bad.
They
No
will be
peanut butter balls.
available. They will be available for the contest, though. I will make sure of that. They might even
Excellent
come in
peanut
a
butter
nice,
balls.
nice little box with a bow on it. You never know.
Danielle's over here and totally in the dark. She doesn't get the reference, but Brady made these little granola bars for our last trip, and he formed them in the shape of balls. And there was an inside joke about Brady's balls on the boat when we were so. Gina, like
They tasted really good, though.
yeah. All right. Well, we better call it quits with that one. We'll leave you until next week. All right, guys. Have a great week, and we will see you then.